Okay, this is part 5 um of my story. And like I was saying, me and my brother Carl, we were close and we had been close and somehow I guess through some of these family meetings, a couple of fights had broken out with me and him when he hit me, I hit him. He was, you know, the family was just falling apart. Well, I was everybody was just going against me, and I didn't understand it. Okay, but anyway, my brother brought my mother over the next day, and my brother Carl came along with him, and I fixed her some crab cakes and potato salad, her favorite foods. I know what my mom likes. Anyway, so while they were here, I asked my brother. I said, "Well, why was everybody over at Mama's house yesterday?" And my brother Erskine said, "Well, Curleen asked us to change all the locks on the doors." Now, for what reason did the locks need to be changed on my mother's door when she was just told that an attorney was going to take over the house and the money? And the judge was going to let us know who that attorney was going to be on that Tuesday. She said by Tuesday they're going to have somebody assigned and we can know who they was going to have assigned, which ended up being Sharon Kelsey. But she had my brothers to go in my mother's house on October I guess that was the 2nd, right after they left court, okay? And changed all the locks. Now, and I told you I had cleaned up that whole house. I mean, everything was bleached down, cleaned down, the refrigerators cleaned out, the basement floor scrubbed, a piece of drywall had, right the night before the people came in and moved my mother out, I believe my son had let the water dripping in the kitchen, and a piece of drywall that we always had problems with in the basement had fell. I had cleaned that up, every scrub. The house was clean, everything, okay? And it was prepared, and I wanted my mother to come and see how nice everything was, okay? So it's no reason nobody can say anything was condemned about her house, okay? So the locks changed. I said, well, why y'all changed the locks? The only people who had keys was me, my nephew Emmanuel, and my sister Curleen. So why would y'all change the locks? The house was locked up. Had nobody been in there or anything like that. Except one time I got my nephew, my foster sister's son. He had gotten his mother's old keys from when she was living there, and he was sneaking up in there, and I had the police take his butt right up out of there, too. Anyway, so we really hadn't had no problems with nobody breaking in or anything. So I didn't understand why she had the locks changed, but I know now that I couldn't get in the house, okay? So now all this time my mother was gone, my sister would never bring my mother to her house. My mother kept asking and saying she wanted to come to her house. Did I get the work done? She wanted to come. Did the contractors fix the house yet? She wanted to come home because my mother had never in her life spent a night at Curleen's house. Curleen has dogs. My mother has never wanted to be in a house with dogs. I mean, certain things my mother just ain't never was totally against, okay? And I know that for a fact. So, finally, my daughter took me on vacation. Like I said, that was October. Okay, so in November, I had went on vacation. But I had spoke to my mother prior to that, okay? It seemed like I spoke to my mother like about a week or two after we went to court, okay? And I was telling my mother, I said, you should wait till you see your house. Your house is already. My mother said, I went in there, that house is a mess. That house, I went to the door. And I'm thinking now, I'm thinking, me personally, I'm like, Mom, you tripping. What do you mean? All as nice as that house look and everything spick and span clean, what are you saying that the house is a mess? She said, I went to the door. I didn't even want to go in. And I'm like, okay, now is my mother really getting dementia? I mean, what is she talking about? Clean as the house is. And me and my girlfriend Robin was talking, and she was like, wow, girl, what? And I was like, yeah. But I just kind of like, just bounced it off my head like, okay, maybe my mother is getting dementia, okay, or Alzheimer's or whatever, okay, because if she's saying that she went in the house and the house was not, you know, like perfect, what, I don't understand. Now, I did not know. So wait a minute later, a couple of weeks later, I got some text messages from my brother in Norfolk. And he sent me these pictures of the house. And all this vandalism had taken place in my mother's house, okay? Now, somebody had went in there and pulled the kitchen cabinet off the wall. The brand new cabinets that I just had installed with Christmas in April. Not even a year. Or a little over a year. Somebody had pulled one of the cabinets off the wall, broke all the dishes on the floor in the kitchen. Somebody had taken my mother's TV. Somebody had taken my mother's comforter off of her bed and took it in the hallway and set it on fire, burning the wall and the floor. And then they took the cooler. I had a big cooler, you know, like an ice cooler that you put your drinks in for the cookouts. And took my cooler, and I guess they set the fire, and then they realized wasn't no water in the house, so they took the cooler and they banged the fire out with the cooler, so the cooler was melted all over the floor also, okay? And I'm wondering, like, okay, something don't seem, so my brother called me up and he said, Vonnie, see if you can find out who did this to Mama's house. I said, okay. I said, well, when did this happen? He said, well, Thelma said she went over there to get the mail. When did she ever start going to get mail from my mother's house? I had 2 huge bags of mail from my mother's house because I was the only one going to get the mail. Now, since when did she start going to get the mail? So she decided to go get the mail one day, okay? And when she went to get the mail, she says the door was unlocked. I'm sure. Now, I went around the whole house. I haven't seen anything compromised. I haven't seen, it looked like I got pictures of all the doors and windows. Nobody broke into the house, okay, at all, okay? So how she got in that house and why she went in that house that particular day and that time is still confusing to me, okay? So she went in the house and she noticed that somebody had been in my mother's house all of a sudden and vandalized my house after Curly had the locks changed, okay? She decided to go get the mail. She don't call the police. She calls my brother Carl. And they take pictures. They don't call the police. They take pictures. And then they leave. And send the pictures out to everybody. And my brother sent me the pictures. So now my mind is like, wait a minute. Hold up. Don't nobody, it ain't nothing in that house really that nobody want other than, you know, maybe the TVs, unless they want some china or something like that. It's not like it's no jewelry or, you know, nothing, no big electronics or anything that would make somebody break in. And then who would just break in a house just to vandalize it only after my mother supposedly had been out of her house because her house was condemned? So it seemed to me as if someone was sent there to make the house look as if it was condemned, okay? And this was what they did. Now, I'm like, nobody called the police. Nobody did anything. I couldn't get in the house. So I could have went over there, but I no longer had a key. They locked the door. So I couldn't call the police to come and do fingerprints or anything, okay? So this mysterious person who was sent to my mother's house, and I'm going to say sent because I sincerely feel that those locks was changed for a reason, okay? And this only happened a week or less after those locks was changed because my mother had called me and said her house was a mess. But my mother had not been taken to her house the whole year prior to this, okay? So, and then I had a friend who told me that they can identify the person who they saw in my mother's driveway. And the identity that they have given me of this person is clearly a person that my sister is connected to. If this eyewitness is correct, and I'm wondering why would this person even be in my mother's driveway? Because she got a good look at the person, and when he was out in the driveway. Okay, and I'm thinking this is the person who was sent to vandalize my mother's house. Okay, and then everything else just fall in line. Okay, now you come and get the mail. You go in the house. You never did that before. Come on. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out some things. Okay? You know, court time coming up, court getting closer and closer. Ain't nothing wrong with my mother's house. You done had these people lying and scheming with you. Okay? So now you have to do something to make this house look and appear as if it's condemned, when you know damn well it was not. This is a part of your scheme and your manipulative moves. Okay? So, we in the court. So the court has custody over the house and everything now. And the house is vandalized. And my mother is taken to the house to see the vandalism. And now it's this thing about they're trying to brainwash her that ain't nobody paying $50,000 and $30,000 to get no house fixed. You brainwashing my mother, and you putting all this stuff in her head to try to make her not want to come back to her home. But in her heart of hearts, she wants to come home. She's not happy living where she's living in the conditions that she's living in. Okay? She's not happy. I know my mother. She is not happy. And it's sad that my mother had to say to me, it's a shame how they treat old people. Okay? It's a shame how they treat old people. It's a shame that I have to hear my mother on the phone and hear my sister's granddaughters coming in there and telling my mother, Caroline, say, put your clothes on. And my mother telling me, okay, I gotta go. I gotta put my clothes on. My mother has never been that submissive to nobody. Okay? I took care of my mother every day. And when I would go there and I would say, Mom, come on, get up, put some clothes on. We're going to ride down the street, see Aunt Beverly. She said, Aunt Beverly want to see me? She can come over here. I ain't going to see nobody. Come on, Mom, put on some clothes. I'm going to take you down there to hang out with the senior citizens for the little activity senior citizens at. She said, I ain't going down there. I ain't going nowhere. I'm comfortable right here in my house. So I know my mother. This thing about her getting up every day, going to this adult activity center, and then she has to go to another adult activity center because where my sister has a job at, the one who retired to take care of her mother got a job now because she lost that money? Really? My mother don't go to the nail salon like she used to go every week because my sister don't have that money no more? Are you serious? My mother didn't go to adult senior citizen activity center for the whole time my sister had her until the court took the money away from her. When the court took the money, then my mother started having to go to the adult activity center. And she don't just go to one from 8, 9 o'clock in the morning until 2 or 3. She goes to another one that in Pasadena that my sister works at. How I look for my mother going to 2 adult activity centers from 8 o'clock in the morning to damn near 8 o'clock at night, sitting in somebody's chair with a bunch of old folks. That ain't never been something my mother had to do or wanted to do. My mother had 10 damn children. Okay? And she got a whole hell of a lot of grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And some of us was spending time with her and going to her house and entertaining her and talking with her and laughing with her and laying with her and watching TV with her and eating with her every day. And you took her from her environment to send her to an adult senior citizen center where those people don't have no children, no family, nobody to be there to entertain them and spend time with them. But you're forcing my mother to go there every day. You send her every day. Every day. Okay? But let me get back to the story because like I said, this story is so crazy. And I have never seen this type of betrayal in my life. Okay? And I would never have thought that my brothers and the sisters would allow a manipulator, my sister, the one sister who was not raised in the household with us, to come and control this whole situation. She was not raised in the house with us. She was raised in Dallas, Texas with her father. Oh yeah, I questioned my mother about that too. I was an inquisitive child. Mom, why didn't you raise her? Why was she in Dallas, Texas? Why wasn't she in the house? Because my mother said, because my grandmother made me send her to her father because he was older than me and he got me pregnant. And she said he had to take care of his child. That's why. Not because my mother didn't want her child, but it was not my mother's choice. It was her grandmother's choice who was raising her. So if this is a form of resentment or some get back, or my sister thinks that my mother owes her something, I don't know. But at any rate, my mother has love for each and every one of us. The same love. Okay? Yeah, my mother used to always say when I was young that girl, that sneaky little hussy, she's a lying little hussy. I never knew what my mother was talking about. But now I do. And when I tell my mother, I said, Ma, you know, when you used to always talk about Curly when I was a little girl, and I used to kind of like get a little upset with you saying that about your daughter because I never knew what you was talking about. I said, but now I see it. And my mother just laughed like, like I told you. She been like that all her life. Okay. Anyway, so now we go to court again. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. So after we go to court, and like I said, my sister had this stay away order against me, right? I ain't even going to talk about she tried to do a violation. She went and took me to court for violation of the stay away order. That was thrown out of court. So I ain't even going to go into details about that, okay? How she tried to get this man to make me go to drug and alcohol treatment and gambling treatment and my mental health. And I told that man, not over my dead body. My brothers and sisters could say they want me to do anything, but I'm not doing. I will go to jail first. If you have